Welcome to our 7th episode of Atypical Air. Today's episode is all about the famous Boeing 377 Stratocruiser. We'll be talking about its development and impact on aviation. All that and more today on Atypical Air. Before we begin, be sure to like and subscribe, and consider becoming a patron on the Very Air Media Patreon page. In July of 1947, the Boeing 377 Stratocruiser was born. The aircraft, a large, long-range airliner developed by Boeing in the late 1940s, was known for its distinctive design, luxurious accommodations, and technical innovations. Its first flight was July 8th of 1947 and was introduced to the airlines in 1949. It was built with 4 Pratt & Whitney R4360 Wasp major radial engines, typically configured to carry between 55 to 100 passengers depending on the layout and class configuration. It was one of the first airliners to feature a pressurized cabin, allowing it to fly at higher altitudes and providing a smoother ride above the weather. The Stratocruiser had a unique double-deck layout, with the passenger cabin on the upper deck and a lounge and bar area on the lower deck accessible by a spiral staircase. It also featured beds, spacious seating, and well-appointed lounges catering to the high-end market. Its main operators were Pan American World Airways, British Overseas Airways Corporation, American Overseas Airlines, and still presently operating United Airlines. The Boeing 377 Stratocruiser was a technological leap forward in passenger comfort and performance, significantly enhancing the flying experience during its era. It helped set the stage for the development of more advanced long-range airliners, contributing to the evolution of commercial aviation. It was primarily used on long-haul international routes, including transatlantic and transpacific flights. One of the most famous was United's route between the West Coast and Hawaii, making it one of the first routes to travel to the islands from the U.S. mainland.
Once too remote for all but a handful of visitors, today there's a new highway to Hawaii. United Airlines Mainline Airway, which brings these magic islands as close as your next-door neighbor. From 75 mainland cities, United's DC-6 mainliners converge on California, the real starting point of your Hawaiian holiday. Ahead are the blue waters of the Pacific, whose long swells become mere ripples below as the plane reaches its cruising altitude and levels off in the smooth upper air. Inside the quiet cabin, the air is pressurized to sea-level comfort, and there's almost no feeling of motion. The stroll about spaciousness of the mainliner Stratocruiser invites a leisurely look around. Back through the main passenger cabin, with its soft reclining seats and big picture windows. Amidships, you pause for a glimpse into the compact galley. Almost before you realize it, mealtime has arrived. From their storage chests come chilled salads, hot entrees, and frozen desserts. The Hawaiian Lounge downstairs on the lower deck is one of the most popular spots aboard the Stratocruiser. Here's a pleasant place to while away brief travel hours, joining in a game of cards, meeting congenial companions, or enjoying a cool drink from the refreshment bar. The beautiful shoreline unfolds, the green hills and the curve of Waikiki Beach. As your plane taxis up to the terminal, you're greeted by the friendly aloha emblazoned on the tower.
The Boeing 377 Stratocruiser was renowned for its advanced features and luxurious accommodations, which set it apart from other airliners of its time. Here are some of its notable features. It was one of the first airliners to feature a pressurized cabin, allowing it to fly at higher altitudes as much as 25,000 feet above much of the turbulence and weather, resulting in a smoother and more comfortable ride for passengers. Unique for its time, the Stratocruiser had a double-deck design. The main passenger cabin was located on the upper deck, while the lower deck housed a lounge and bar area accessible via spiral staircase. Powered by four Pratt & Whitney R4360 Wasp major radial engines, each producing as much as 3,500 horsepower, these were some of the most powerful piston engines ever used on a commercial aircraft. It had a range of about 4,200 miles and a cruising speed of approximately 300 miles per hour, making it suitable for long-haul transoceanic flights. The main cabin was wide and spacious, with a seating capacity ranging from 55 to 100 passengers depending on the configuration. The seats were large and comfortable, reflecting the luxurious standards of the time. Some configurations including sleeping berths that could be folded down for overnight flights, providing passengers with the option to sleep comfortably during long journeys. The lower deck featured a lounge and bar area, offering passengers a place to relax and socialize during the flight. This area was often compared to the luxurious ocean liners of the era. The aircraft had well-appointed dining facilities where passengers could enjoy gourmet meals. The meals were often prepared in-flight by chefs, emphasizing the luxurious travel experience. Some versions of the Stratocruiser included private compartments or suites, catering to the first-class passengers with the highest level of privacy and comfort. The aircraft featured multiple redundant systems to enhance safety, including backup hydraulic and electrical systems. Equipped with, for its time, state-of-the-art navigation and communication systems to ensure precise flying and reliable communication with ground control. The Stratocruiser's landing gear was designed to handle a wide variety of airport conditions, enhancing its operational flexibility. The Stratocruiser was very versatile, used not only for passenger service but also adapted for cargo and military transportation roles such as the C-97 Stratofreighter. Designed for relatively easy maintenance with accessible engine cowls and systems to reduce turnaround times between flights. While it was advanced for its time, its safety record had some quirks. While it was known for its advanced features and luxurious accommodations, it also experienced a few crashes during its operational history. Here are some notable examples. November 8th of 1957, Pan American World Airways Flight 7, a Boeing 377 Stratocruiser named Romance of the Skies, disappeared over the Pacific Ocean while en route from San Francisco to Honolulu. All 44 passengers and crew on board had perished. Wreckage and bodies were found in the ocean, but the cause of the crash was never definitively determined. October 16th of 1956, another Pan American World Airways Flight 6 was forced to ditch in the Pacific Ocean after experiencing mechanical failures on its flight from Honolulu to San Francisco. The crew successfully executed a water landing, and all 31 passengers and crew were rescued by the U.S. Coast Guard. December 9th of 1954, a British Overseas Airways Corporation Stratocruiser crashed while attempting to land at Prestwick Airport in Scotland due to engine failure and adverse weather conditions. Of the 36 people on board, 28 had perished. On April 4th of 1955, yet another Pan American World Airways Stratocruiser had crashed during a test flight. It experienced a structural failure of the vertical stabilizer leading to a crash. All 5 crew members on board had perished. While the Boeing 377 Stratocruiser was a significant technological achievement and offered unprecedented luxury, its operational history was marred by these tragic events. The accidents often highlighted the challenges and risks associated with early long-range commercial aviation, particularly with large piston-engine aircraft. The Boeing 377 Stratocruiser was retired from commercial airline service primarily during the late 1950s and early 1960s, as newer and more advanced jet airliners became available. Pan Am was one of the largest operators of the Stratocruiser. They began phasing out the aircraft in favor of jet airliners like the Boeing 707 and Douglas DC-8, which offered faster speeds, greater range, and more efficient operations. British Overseas Airways Corporation operated the Stratocruiser on long-haul routes. The introduction of the Boeing 707 and the Vickers VC-10 led to the gradual retirement of their Stratocruisers. United Airlines used the Stratocruiser for transcontinental flights within the United States. They retired the aircraft in favor of more modern jets such as the previously mentioned DC-8 by the late 1950s. Before merging with Pan American World Airways in 1950, American Overseas Airlines operated the Stratocruiser. Post-merger, the aircraft continued to be used under Pan Am's fleet until its eventual phase-out. While the Boeing 377 Stratocruiser had a relatively short commercial service life, it left a lasting impact due to its innovative design and luxurious accommodations. Its era marked a significant transition period in aviation history, bridging the gap between the propeller-driven aircraft of the 1940s and the jet age of the 1960s.